Good evening, Trump family. Welcome to Open Source News. Have a good night and God bless you. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. And the Biden regime's continue war against military, or at least to military families in this sense, continues, not only by forcing the jabs on these soldiers, forcing these jabs that are not proven to work on these soldiers and have adverse effects, they continue to push the indoctrination of trans and drag queen performances on these bases. And now when soldiers are struggling, what do they tell the soldiers? Oh, too bad. Maybe apply for some food stamps. Maybe that'll help you out. This regime has been a disgrace to so many Americans in this nation, especially the ones who have served this nation faithfully. They continue its war against anything that hasn't resemblance of traditional values or traditional values, and a sense that they promote things that made this country great. And instead, they continue to attack those same individuals by forcing upon them all of these things that go against the things that have made us wonderful and great over the course of the country's existence. What we have here, coming to us from the post-colonial, says Army advises struggling military families to apply for food stamps. That's right. That's what the military is advising. The regime is advising them. The base salary for Army private is $21,000. According to GoArmy.com, well below the national average salary of $53,000 per year based on the latest data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The U.S. Army official website released an advisory for military families struggling with finances due to inflation, which has been brought on by this regime. And one of the pieces of advice given has turned some heads tucked in between sections advising service members to apply for low-interest loans and get finance counseling. One suggestion was to apply for food stamps, and one of the other suggested was for them to go ahead and take up drag and start stripping for their fellow soldiers. Maybe that was in there somewhere. Because that's what they seem to be promoting. Yeah, if you become a drag, or if you want to be trans, we can definitely get you some more financial assistance. This regime is sick. This regime is what they're doing to our soldiers that our warrior class of our soldiers is sick, as they continue to want to erode what has made this country so great. Over the years, they are working to destroy it from within because what they want in the military are obedient soldiers who are willing to go ahead and turn the guns on their fellow citizens. That's what they want. That's why they're more than willing to offer all these things to drags, to the LGBT who XYZ, the trans people, the people who are more than willing to take 16 jabs up there. But those are the people they want in the military, because they know they have complete control over them. And they will do whatever they say as they continue to push this woke agenda that they have, while at the same time depriving families within the military of basic needs. It's a disgrace what they're doing, especially after they have served the disgrace that they receive at the VA hospitals and places like that. It's absolutely disgusting. This administration has declared war on our military families, this country, and anybody who disagrees with it. And it is 2022. It is September 2022. Democrats are going into November in a terrible position. They are within a recession. We are within a recession as a country. We have food costs soaring, rising inflation, around 9%, 8.59% inflation, corporate profits are going to tank. The market is going to have a cataclysmic downturn. Michael Burry, Nouriel Roubini, Jeremy Grantham, and to a much lesser extent, they're going into midterms. I mean, within an economic recession, 2 quarters of negative growth, real wages down 4.4%. We have an economy that is shrinking, interest rates going up as the economy shrinks, and they say, have you looked at the job numbers? Well, it took 2 years to get back to the record low unemployment numbers we had when inflation wasn't at 8.5 to 9%. And when the economy wasn't shrinking, and when real wages weren't down 4.4%, and when food prices weren't soaring, and when we didn't have a geopolitical nightmare and recession in Europe. So that's the preface. That's the backdrop to the never-ending apoplectic, totally irrational, borderline hysterical laser focus obsession of Democrats towards Trump. So Maggie Haberman comes out with a book, I'm Not Just Going to Leave. New book reveals Trump vowed to stay in Oval Office. Think CNN. This is what keeps Democrats up at night, not rising food costs, not inflation, not the nightmare in Europe taking place and also in other parts of the world. They have obsessed over Trump because it's the only thing they have. They can only obsess over Trump because they don't have any accomplishments. What are they going to say? The economy and foreign policy are fantastic. No, Trump Republicans are extreme. The fabric of our nation, the soul of our nation, all of these esoteric, philosophical, ambiguous terms and lofty phrases and ideals. They don't even believe in what's happening to the soul of our nation when Madam Secretary has top secret and special access program intelligence being siphoned out of the country onto servers, that James Comey stated. He said although there are violations of the legal statutes pertaining to the handling of classified data, no reasonable prosecutor would indict. So some people, he stated, are above the law. And then Democrats say nobody is above the law as they are all the time above the law. Then Hunter and I went to Hillary Trump 2024. Nobody will be happier if we have a rematch. I think we should have a rematch for a number of reasons. I'd vote for Trump, but we need to rematch. Right, obviously vote for Trump. We had record highs in household median income, record lows in poverty. Sometimes people say you repeat yourself well. That's the charm of this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, there are things that nobody talks about. I mean, even Trump, you know, that's an honest critique, like a good he doesn't talk about his economic accomplishments. Republicans don't talk about what happened in 2019. Before Democrats in media and experts gleefully take the U.S. economy. Now getting to the situation we have here. Donald Trump has about 8. He has about 8 homes and mansions and 19 golf courses. That's about 27 property. Is the Federal Bureau of Investigation good? Good could get search warrants too, and it takes a second to get a search warrant to investigate Trump because they don't have to have probable cause. When people say, oh, if his Fourth Amendment rights weren't violated, he had proof that they had probable cause. Well, as Kevin Kleinsmith, the Bureau official, who pled guilty to falsifying information to deceive a FISA judge to get to keep investigations going, they use dossiers, they do this all the time. And then you have one journalist in particular, on the left, and he just can't come to terms with the fact that a Steele dossier was purchased by Trump's direct political rival. They're going after him and investigating him everywhere. And then they say, oh, Trump's extreme agenda. He's going to investigate his direct political rivals. That's what they're doing all the time. That's all they do with Trump. They have an entire public relations and prosecutorial monstrosity against them, from late night in Jimmy Kimmel to Merrick Garland to state prosecutors to county prosecutors. They're all Democrats, all after I'm 24/7. Anyway, this is a Sun article. U.S. Sun, he has about 27 properties. Okay. U.S. reveals more classified records may be missing, beds, Reuters, and a whole bunch of other articles in this Washington Examiner just now. Special master throws intelligence briefing to Congress into doubt. Congress. Okay, the House is going to become a Trump Republican like tomorrow in November. So definitely be here for the live stream when Republicans take the House and very likely take the Senate. I'm not making a firm prediction on the Senate. Although I do think it's gonna go Trump Republican. You see, Warnock and Walker, Herschel Walker should win in Georgia. Okay. Herschel Walker is a legend in Georgia. Not just because he's a Heisman Trophy winner, because he's a business owner, because he's a great human being, because he's just awesome. And if you want to say, well, he's spot, yeah, go look at Hunter, go look at Joe's past. And you tell me, okay, when we don't have to get into it. But when the New York Times treated, just you look at how the New York Times treated somebody who stated that Joe did something absolutely heinous and criminal. You just watch it, the hypocrisy is unbelievable. It's like when you had that person who wanted to end the law. Kavanaugh's life, not a word from Democrats, not a word. They downplay everything, and then they get upset with you. If you downplay something, it's all about the struggle for emotion. You cannot distrust Democrats, you can't be suspicious of them. And if you do, it's tarnishing our democracy where you can't be. So when they say this information, is people are believing information that is amiss, let's just for the just for the robots. When they say a mistype of information, what they mean is a rebuttal. That's logical and rational, that refutes their argument. But it's a viewpoint that is not shared by all the smartest people in the room, although it's logical and rational. So you're not making anything up. They don't say false information, simply say it's false. But they say it's mesh type of information. It's information that isn't entirely taken in the right context. What used to be known as a rebuttal, but anyway. He could face legal jeopardy because he does have the goods on them. Very likely storing classified data and Durham probe documents in possibly 27 locations. The problem is they can't rate to 27 locations. The 10th rate is gonna look bad on them. Even Jimmy Kimmel is not going to be able to they might try to get some political momentum from it, but it's gonna look really bad. What needs to happen is the Durham probe is going to convict on one of the 5 counts an operative who worked alongside a Clinton public relations executive, you can believe that. And once he gets convictions, more indictments, you have parallel investigations in the House of Representatives. You're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a complete paradigm shift. Donald Trump, I really don't know what he's gonna do with the documents. If he's actually storing Durham probe documents. There's a report in the Rolling Stone. There's a Rolling Stone report that talks about how he was storing their own probe special counsel documents. It is possible. So the Rolling Stone report corresponds with a whole bunch of articles public record. I always cite public record sources, reputable sources, so it is possible he's storing these documents in like 27 locations. That is possible, probably 2 or 3 or 4 locations that he knows are, that is a very tricky issue. He might be in actual legal jeopardy if indeed he's doing that. But then again, he's a former president. There's no precedent if he had ownership of those documents while he was president and declassified them. So if he declassified those documents? Who knows? All bets are off. He can't convict before, and then you have The Atlantic today. I read these liberal publications, so you don't have to, how indicting a former president suddenly became a good idea. It's like, you can't, it's just hilarious. They continually defend the indefensible, because they've infused liberal sensibilities within journalism. So suddenly, they treat Trump in a manner they never allow themselves to be treated, but they do so from the vantage point of, well, this man is a monster. Obviously, we have to do what we're doing that's borderline criminal and definitely biased, then only for political gain against this man. Dossier investigations all the time. Lies within journalism. Well, we have to because he's a monster. And that's not right. That's what if you want to say tearing apart the country or dividing the country, that's what makes Trump polarizing. It's not Trump himself. It's this sensationalized coverage. If you don't like record lows in poverty, and you don't like record highs in household median income, that's your problem. That's what happened with Trump. The whole entire apoplectic media meltdown has nothing to do with the accomplishments of his presidency. Did he say things that perhaps he shouldn't have said? Yeah. Nothing close to what Biden said, the Charlemagne de God, nothing close. But see, again, it's like they never talked about supremacy in Biden's words, but you can look at the crime bill, for example. They never actually look at themselves, look at the mirror and say, okay, we are actually the embodiment of what we claim to oppose. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts below. And hit subscribe right now. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.